see us or hear us? Yes, good. All right. I see David, I see Anna, I see Tony, I see Jessica, so I see our starting council. I think we're good. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is our regular Town of Truckee Town Council meeting. It's December 8th, 2020. It's 5 p.m. We are going almost exclusively virtual for the meeting. I'm here in council chambers along with our town manager, Jen Calloway, and Judy Price is also here. We are all very many feet apart, much more than 6, and thanks everybody else for joining us virtually. I really appreciate it. And just this is going to be a fairly ceremonious meeting in addition to some of the business that we have to conduct. And just want to express my gratitude to everybody for their patience as we work through this in case there's any technical difficulties later on. We'll do our best to make sure this runs as smoothly as possible, and also just express at least my appreciation for everybody's willingness to do this in when we have so many outgoing council members and so many incoming council members. So thank you so much. I see myself looking sideways at the TV, so that's a bit weird, but I'm trying to look to my right, which is where everybody in the meeting is, even though I'm being filmed in front of me. So I apologize if that's how that looks. With that said, let's call this meeting to order, and we will have roll call, please. Judy.
Thank you. Councilmember Commendatore.
Here.
Councilmember Abrams.
Here.
Councilmember Tierman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Klövstad.
Here.
Did she say here?
Here.
Okay. Sorry, thank you.
There we go.
And Mayor Pallavi.
Here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. We will skip the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, but that's always in our hearts and minds. And I just wanted to give everybody a quick housekeeping and heads up about this evening. We have a few items that our current council is going to be handling. That's going to take a minimum of about 45 minutes, and then we'll move into our election ceremony, and then we'll have a couple of action items after we seat our new council. So for anybody tuning in, that's kind of our timing for this evening. With that, I'd like to open it up to public comment. Item 4 on our agenda, any item not on tonight's agenda. This is the opportunity to speak up. Please state your name. You can call us and leave a voice or text message at 530-428-6555 or Truckee@townoftruckee.com. Judy, will you play any of the public comment we have?
Sure.
Hi, my name is Warren Brown, and I am calling to comment on item 4.0 for the December 8th Town Council meeting. Yes, my name is Warren Brown. I'm a longtime resident of Truckee and a volunteer in various aspects of the community. I wanted to call on behalf of a project that's going on at Soaring Ranch. And I understand that tenant improvement plans were submitted August 27th and not been endorsed or anything otherwise to this point. So it seems to me that that's a very long time for the planning department to make its decisions. I think Soaring Ranch is one of the most important developments in the community's recent history. It saves on time, gas time in particular, gas consumption in particular, and I think it's a very important part of our community, and will, with future plans for it to have housing and other aspects, important commercial aspects, I think that it's even more critical for the town and for its citizens, and that it get built as quickly as possible. So I'm hopeful that the planning department will move forward with alacrity and get the TIs that were submitted August 7th approved, and so that the tenant can move forward. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, Warren.
This is agenda item 4, public comment at today's meeting. Good evening. My name is John Jones. Thank you for the opportunity to share some of my frustrations. I own 2 real estate related businesses doing business in the town of Truckee. I'm asking for your help in reducing the response times with submittals to our planning department. Soaring Ranch submitted a request to provide a warm shell to their lessees versus a cold shell on October 1st. It was approved today after 68 calendar days. Deluxe Window Coverings submitted a reasonably vanilla set of TI plans on August 27th, and they have heard nothing after 101 days. Commerce in our community is being affected by COVID and COVID-related restrictions. We all understand that, but 68 to 100 days is putting undue financial pressure on businesses that are already being negatively impacted by COVID. And at the margin, these extremely long response times from the planning department is going to cause the town a loss of dollars and a loss of control over time, as tenants and lessees will find ways to accomplish their improvement plans without submittals to the town when it's possible. The town's target for response to TI submittals, I'm told, is 20 days, with a lengthening to 32 days because of COVID. 20 days works out to 28 calendar days, and 32 business days works out to 44 days. But the actual times, as I've shared with you, are far exceeding these targets. Please help the planning department get back on track. It's hurting our community. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, John. Any other public comment?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Hello, my name is Heather Rankow, and I'm providing public comment for an item that is not on the agenda for tonight's meeting. I would like to bring up the topic of delays occurring within the community development department, both in the planning department and building department. I work obviously in construction and development, and a variety of my clients have experienced more than delays and beyond what the times that are provided in normal circumstances. However, it seems, that staff is working with the community and somewhat communicating and trying their best. But I feel that there's not enough staff capacity or timing, and then combined with the COVID restrictions and them not being in the office, that is providing an insurmountable amount of obstacles for them to be able to achieve realistic timelines for people that are coming in for permits, whether they be for planning or building. And therefore, I'd like to see the town council make an action or work with the community development department to try to provide a reasonable solution so that key developments and construction projects can maintain a realistic timeline in terms of getting their entitlements and permits. Thank you so much, and appreciate your time for listening to this.
Thank you, Heather. Seeing no other public comment, nothing came in via text. We will close public comment and acknowledge all of that. Thank you. Just want to remind everybody, and I did hear a whole bunch of COVID in there, but not only are we temporarily closed here at Town Hall and in the planning department, but just like all of you and everybody out there, kids aren't in school, businesses are being closed. People, have a lot of extra responsibilities that they wouldn't have. So we understand that there's frustrations there, and we ask for your patience. And we understand sometimes that's not good enough, but we're doing the best we can with all of the resources at our disposal. We will certainly look to adjust those realistic timelines and make sure that the public is aware of what realistic timelines they can expect. impact right now in this day and age with all of the restrictions that are in place. With that, public comments now closed. Let's move in. I'm sorry, did any other council member want to say anything to the public comment?
Yeah, I'll say something.
Go ahead, Tony.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I echo what you said, although I will also say that when you're trying to survive, and I appreciate all the businesses and developments that are out there, the construction is happening, people are trying to make things happen, and it's difficult to hear, I don't want to say excuses, but then to a certain extent, that's what they are to the community. So we as a town, and since this is my last town council meeting, I would just ask that the new town council going forward, the town staff, keep that in mind, that although we have real problems with COVID and struggles going on, that we address this and try and do the best we can to keep business happening and keep people moving forward, because it's very expensive to do what they're trying to do, and we need to pay attention to try and help them as best we can and not be a hindrance. So thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Tony. Any other council members? Seeing none. And if I miss something, just cut me off, you guys. I'm looking sideways, trying to talk forward. So just let me know. Just chime right in, please. Great. Let's move on to our presentations. Item 5.1, we are going to recognize Carolyn Wallace D's service to the Truckee community. And I see Carolyn there. So thank you for joining us, Carolyn. And is Dan? I see Dan. Dan's going to start us off with this one. So take it away, Dan.
Thank you. This is a real honor for me. Carolyn and I have known each other for 15 plus years, probably. As most everyone knows, Carolyn served, I think she's the only 3-term town council member that the town of Truckee has ever had. And she led the town through a great time period where we were transitioning from really a startup mode to and kind of taking care of some basic services to really being able to move the community forward in a number of important initiatives. One of the areas Carolyn was most passionate about was transportation. And, I think from her time prior to Truckee, she was in the transportation sector, working in the city of San Francisco, I believe, in the parking industry, which sounds like a monumental challenge. And Carolyn was our representative, your representative on the Nevada County Transportation Commission for, I believe, 10 years now. And in that role, it was Carolyn's skill set that brought us a lot of the money that we needed to build the Mouse Hole project and the pedestrian bore underneath the railroad tracks. And most recently, her leadership at NCTC on behalf of the town has resulted in Truckee getting about another $400,000 to $500,000 a year annually in transit funding. And that is it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of convincing of the leadership and her fellow board members at the county to agree to send more money to Truckee for transit, but Carolyn was successful in making that happen. In addition to that, Carolyn was on a first name relationship basis with the previous Caltrans director, Will Kempton. So when we had some interesting things going on with Caltrans over different projects here in Truckee, we could always call on Carolyn to go straight to the top of the organization where that was needed, and then help get issues resolved quickly. And I know from a staff person's perspective who's involved in transportation here in the town, having Carolyn as an advocate, both here in the community and the region and in the state for transportation issues was outstanding. And there's a kind of a very pronounced footprint on the community that Carolyn's leadership has resulted in, including the Mouse Hole project, the transit funding that will be going on into the future in her role as a council member, a lot of the the money that's been budgeted for roads and for setting up reserve funds for roads in the future, et cetera. So my understanding is that, unfortunately for Truckee, Carolyn is going to be leaving the community onto the next chapter of her life. And as a result, will no longer be able to represent us on the Nevada County Transportation Commission. And I believe the council at one of your next couple of meetings here will need to select another representative to take care of the town's interests over there at the county. So again, thank you, Carolyn. It's been an honor to know you, and we're going to miss you here in Truckee.
Thanks, Dan. And Carolyn, we just wanted to recognize you one more time before you did leave us, and thank you so much, not only for your 3 terms on council, but for your continued service, as Dan mentioned, on the Nevada County Transportation Commission and on the Art Commission. And the reason why we chose to do this tonight is, as Dan mentioned, Carolyn recently resigned from both of those, and unfortunately will be leaving Truckee, but we wish her the best of health, and we really just have the utmost gratitude for all of the service that you've provided over the last 18. I'm not even going to guess how many years, Carolyn, but thank you. So thank you so much, and if you'd like to say a few words, please do so.
Well, thank you very much. I'm honored. I did not expect this. It's with very mixed emotions that I am leaving Truckee. A lot of it is for health reasons. My doctors have encouraged me to get out of altitude and a few other things. So I'm listening to them finally. But it's been truly a privilege and a pleasure to serve Truckee. It's easy to give to a town that you truly love, and this has been a very, very hard and emotional decision for me. So I will miss all of you. There's many, many good friends out there, and but I'm not disappearing. I'll look for visitors, and I will be back. I've made the agreement that I will come back every so many months for medical checkups and still work with my team. So I'll see you around. You're not quite rid of me.
That's great news.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. And before we go, we do have some public comment for you. So before we go, let's hand it over to any council members. And for our existing council, I thought we would just go in this order of Tony, Jessica, David Tierman, and then Anna. As we proceed through some of these agenda items. So if there's anything you want to say, feel free. And head nods work too if you would like to pass. So Tony, anything?
Yeah, Carolyn, I think I sent you an email personally, and I didn't get an opportunity to spend much time working with you. With a little bit of time we did spend on that one committee, showed me how much you truly love Truckee and the quality of person you really are. And how much the impact you made this town better. And I really appreciate it as a longtime local, and I really appreciate what you've done, and I wish you best and take care. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Tony.
Jessica, did you want to?
Yes, thank you. Carolyn, it's good to see you. You've been such a tremendous asset to this community. I admire you personally. I so admire you as a leader, and I find your seemingly bottomless amount of strength is just beyond admirable. For me, I consider you as a personal role model, and I'm sad to see you go. I wish you the best of luck. Would love to stay in touch, but really, really grateful for the impact that you've had on our community. It's been nothing but positive, and so much positive. So thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn, when I saw you pop up on our version of the Hollywood Squares a few minutes ago, you brought a smile to my face, and just so happy that you were able to join tonight. And I agree with everything that's been said. You've been an incredible asset to the town of Truckee over more than a decade. Three times serving as mayor. It was an honor serving with you and I can't believe it was 2 years ago this month that you stepped down, and we kind of had a departure farewell ceremony then. So definitely going to miss you, and definitely going to stay in touch. And thank you for your tireless work. And if that Transportation Commission has a vacancy, maybe as I step off, I should think about that as an alternative. But anyway, thank you for what you've done for our community. And Truckee's loss will be a town in Idaho's gain.
Be careful what you offer up there, Mr. Tierman. We're going to do that in a few weeks. Anna.
Carolyn, just thank you so much. I echo everything everybody else has said, and I will just add to that your kindness and generosity to me personally will never be forgotten. And this town is so much better off thanks to your being part of it. I think of you almost every time I drive through the mouse hole, and I just feel like that would never have been accomplished without you. So I am in deep, deep gratitude. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Anna.
And we have a public comment as well for Carolyn.
Hello, this is Alicia Barr, and I'm calling in regarding item 5.1 for the recognition of Carolyn Wallace Dee's service to the Truckee community. I had the honor of serving on the council with Carolyn for 4 years, which is only a small fraction of her service to our community. I considered Carolyn a role model in her selfless dedication to the town, her inclusive leadership as a council member, and especially as mayor, and her passion for the people, the history, and the future of Truckee. She never ceased to amaze me with her endless network of friends and colleagues within the community and throughout the state. If you needed to talk to someone in practically any department, Carolyn knew someone, and they were always willing to come through for her. She has an endless capacity to make you feel valued and to work with people to get things done. I once heard Carolyn referred to as a whirling dervish, and the term is so accurate. She seems to somehow be everywhere with her boundless energy and passion. We are so fortunate that she chose Truckee as home and has helped to shape it into such a wonderful place. Thank you, Carolyn, for your service, for being such a wonderful mentor and a friend, and for your amazing dedication to our community.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks, Alicia. Any other public comment on that one? Thank you so much, Carolyn. We wish you the best. With that, we will move to item 5.2. Nicole Casey has an introduction, and then Danielle, you can follow her right up.
Thank you, Mayor. We are extremely excited to introduce Rosie Johnson as the town's new administrative analyst. Rosie is rejoining administrative services after a 5-year stint working at the building front counter as the development services technician. Rosie started with the town in 2015, working for administrative services as an office assistant. She was quickly swooped up by the building department and became an instrumental employee for them. Rosie helped to transition the town to its current permitting system in New World. Part of that transition required educating our townwide building community on how to use the new system, which had many self-service components that we'd never offered before. During her time with building, Rosie was a great ambassador for the town, participating as a member of the Women in Code Enforcement and Development Group, the Northern Nevada International Code Council, and as a board member on the New World Systems Advisory Board. Rosie has her bachelor's degree from San Diego State University in Recreation and Tourism Management and is excited to apply some of what she learned to help us implement the new short-term rental ordinance. And if you're looking for Rosie out and about in town, you can find her chasing her wild pup And we're just so excited to have Rosie bring all of her expertise and knowledge up to helping us with this new fun ordinance adventure. I think Rosie wanted to say hello too.
Take it away, Rosie.
Yes, thank you so much, Nikki, and just so grateful for the opportunity and to be a part of the transient occupancy tax program and help kind of put into effect the short-term rental ordinance that is fast approaching. So thank you.
Yeah, you've got your work cut out for you, Rosie, so congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Danielle, you're up.
Thanks. Just quickly before I introduce our two new employees in the building department, I wanted to acknowledge some of the public comment that we had received sort of about what's happening in the building department. And we're still working. I think there might be some questioning about what's happening in the building department, but although our doors are shut, we're here to serve the public, and that's been a priority since COVID. We know that things are definitely more challenging than they've been in the past, but that's really an opportunity for us to sort of step up to the plate and take on more. So as part of that, our building department staff, which interestingly has changed out about 40%, like many town staff here, have really stepped up to the plate to kind of take on that additional workload and expectation. And I think we're fortunate in that our building community and our community at large really has an abundance of work for us to do. They have high expectations, and we're a partner in that. And as part of that process, we're adding to our staffing and rebuilding our staffing. So when COVID hit, we had an increase in building permit activity that we didn't anticipate. And I think, we were looking at the possibility of a recession and instead got an influx of work. And so what we're doing right now is really kind of preparing to get back up to speed to be able to handle all of our customer service inquiries that we have, to be able to get those turnaround timeframes for everything back to our target goals and really provide that support that the community is looking for. So as part of that, we have Adelia. Adelia, if you want to kind of wave. And both Adelia and Lisa have asked that I can go ahead and say on their behalf that they're appreciative for having this opportunity, but they are okay to not say that directly themselves on camera. So Adelia grew up in Truckee and was in the banking world for about 12 to 13 years. So this is a different transition for her, but she's very excited. She has a 14-year-old daughter, and like many people who come to work for the town of Truckee, have a similar philosophy about embracing sort of outdoor life, camping, going to lakes, hiking, exploring, all those things. And she's very passionate about the community. So that's definitely a town value that we have, and also within the building division. And just generally excited to share that passion and work with a new group of people. So Adelia, thank you for stepping into this role. She's been training with Carolina, doing awesome, and that's going to help us get those permits out faster. And then Lisa, if you want to wave sort of on the screen, there's Lisa. So Lisa grew up in Canada and went to the University of Toronto, and then went to law school in Los Angeles. And she's been in Truckee for about 20 years, with some background in doing a pet sitting business for about 17 years, and then also working for the Tahoe Honor Association, processing construction permits. So she brings a unique perspective in kind of working with homeowners about some of their compliance and their permitting, which will be very helpful at the counter for us. And then, like I said, with everyone who comes to Truckee and has been in Truckee for a long time, likes to do outdoor activities. She likes to volunteer, including serving as a board member with the Truckee Little League. She has an 11-year-old son, 2 dogs and 2 cats that keep her busy, along with all of her cross-country skiing, hiking, and biking outside. So I want to say a warm welcome to Lisa and Adelia, and then as part of that too, acknowledge that this wouldn't be possible in their training in this COVID world without the help of Rosie and Carolina, who are providing that backbone support, which we really appreciate. It's really making the transition a lot easier for us, and we will get back up to speed. So thanks.
Thank you, Danielle, and welcome, Adelia and Lisa. Thanks for joining the team, and we look forward to working with you all as we move this forward. Any other council member would like to make any comments on item 5.2? Jessica?
This is David. Just welcoming Adelia, Rosie, and Lisa. Great to see you. Lisa, we may have been one of your first clients 20 years ago when you started your business. So great to see you joining the town of Truckee, as well as Adelia and Rosie. So,
Jessica, you were waving. Did you want to say something, or were you?
Thank you. Lisa, I haven't met you before, but I had the honor of working with Adelia in banking about 100 years ago. At least it feels like it. And I was thrilled to see that you're joining staff at the town. Danielle, I'm highly confident you've done a great job in at least adding Adelia. We had a wonderful time working together. So, and welcome Lisa and Rosie as well.
Looking good on the screen. Any public comment on item 5.2? Great. Thank you so much. Welcome and congratulations to all of the new hires and promotions at the town. Moving on, we will look at our consent calendar. We have a number of items on consent tonight. Item 6.1, minutes from our November 10th meeting. 6.2, 2020 Development Code updates, the second reading of all of those ordinances. Item 6.3, easement abandonment of 15236 and 15262 Ski Slope Way. Item 6.4, purchase of LED products for the facilities lighting project. 6.5, and a memorandum of understanding with the Truckee Donner PUD and Truckee Fire Protection District for the use of the town's fueling facility, for use of the town's fueling facilities and funding of a new fuel tank. And item 6.6, the West River Streetscape 100% design contract award to Lumos and Associates. Would any member of council like to pull any of the consent items? Seeing none. Anybody on staff looking to pull anything from consent? You have some public comment on consent, so we will take that. We've also, for the record, received a number of public comments, primarily on item 6.6, and I will summarize those after we hear this public comment. So let's go to public comment, Judy.
Honorable Mayor, Town Council, and Town Staff, this is Jan Holland, Board Member of Truckee Trails and Truckee River Legacy Foundation. Regarding consent item 6.6 on December 8th, please encourage town staff and Lumos and Associates to seriously reconsider bicycle safety for all ages 8 to 80. Imagine riding this stretch with your 10-year-old from the new West River Park to Truckee Thursday. Taking the lane in downtown and on West River Street is an advanced maneuver for fast-moving, experienced bicyclists only. I know there is limited space in this area. Good design matters even more. As an example, nose-out angled parking is safer to nose-in angled parking. Large sidewalks are welcome, but perhaps not at the expense of bike lanes. Last note, thank you for planting as many trees in and around the streetscape as possible. It slows everyone down and adds to our town character. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
That's it.
Thank you, Jan. Closing public comment on the consent calendar. And I would say we did receive a number of comments related to 6.6, specifically on that topic that Jan addressed. So we'll enter those for the record and make sure that Dan and Jessica and the project managers have heard that loud and clear as we move this project forward to see if there's opportunity for getting some more bicycle safety measures at the very least included in that streetscape design. With all of that said, can I get a motion on our consent calendar?
I'll make a motion that we, accept or approve all items in the consent calendar through 6.6.
No, all including, unless we weren't pulling anything. So unless somebody I missed, but otherwise consent is all good.
Yes. I'll second the motion.
And we're going to do actual roll calls on all of these. So Judy, you had Tony as a first, David Tierman as a second, and roll call, please.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Commendatory.
Yes.
Councilmember Abrams.
Yes.
Councilmember Tierman.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Klevstad.
Yes.
Mayor Pallavi.
Yes.
Thank you for indulging me on this. It's a lot easier to get the vote.
All good. Thank you, Judy. Great. Consent carries, and we will move on to our discussion items. And we have 2 discussion items before we move into our election program. Item 7.1 is the acceptance of the annual financial statement and audit report for fiscal year 2019-2020. And Nikki is up again, so take it away, Nikki. You're muted, Nikki. Or Kim? Nikki?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry
there
about that. I think we're actually going to start with our auditor, who's also on the line, Justin. And he has a short presentation. Justin, did you need me to run that for you, or did you want to share your screen?
I can share my screen. Do I have the permission to do that?
We will hopefully get that to you if you don't.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, yeah, I've got it. Okay. All right. My name is Justin Williams. I'm the audit partner with MUN CPAs. We've been your auditor for quite a few years now. Had some different partners on there. I rotated to the engagement partner 2 years ago. So I'm here to present the results for the year ended June 30th, 2020. One thing I like to remind council members as well as management, the financial statements themselves are the responsibility of management. And it's our job as the auditor to come in and form an independent opinion on your financials to let the reader know whether or not the numbers are fairly stated. So we did our interim field work in June. Obviously, things were a lot different this year for everybody. The field work was performed completely remotely. We've been doing all of our audits remotely, and it actually worked out pretty well. Honestly, a lot better than I thought it was going to when we first went into the initial lockdown in March, and we're doing a lot of these remotely. But we exchanged a lot of information electronically, and things went fairly well. The main thing that we do during our interim field work is we mostly look at internal controls and internal control processes. If we're going to have any recommendations, it's usually as the result of looking at your processes and controls. This year, the main thing we really needed to concentrate on was making sure that you still were able to maintain adequate controls while people were working remotely. We were able to gain comfort that those controls were still in place through documentation, inquiry, and through testing of those processes. And so we definitely were able to gain the appropriate level of comfort that the controls were still operating as they were originally designed. Our year-end field work was also obviously performed remotely. We did that in October. This is the part of the audit I think most people think of when you think of an audit. It's the testing of the numbers. We're testing the year-end balances at June 30th, as well as the activity that occurred throughout the year. Some examples of different types of tests that we do. Cutoff testing is a big one. If there are going to be errors in a financial statement, often it's during that cutoff period. Now, organizations are usually really good at doing the day-to-day processes, day-to-day recording of activity. Different types of journal entries and activities need to be done at year end that aren't necessarily done throughout the year. So it's a little bit higher risk there. So we concentrate a lot of our testing prior to year end as well as after. We send out third-party confirmations to financial institutions, as well as letters to attorneys who respond directly back to us to see if they're on the balances for the financials. We make sure the numbers agree with the financial institutions, and then the attorneys were looking for any litigation or anything that may affect the financial statements of the town. Also do analytical review procedures there. We're looking at different ratios, looking at different trends and numbers to make sure that they meet our expectations. And if they don't, we'll look into those a little bit further and do some additional testing. Detailed transaction testing, that's really where we're selecting samples at the detail level and asking for support to make sure the numbers are fairly stated. Also do a single audit. Single audit's the extra federal audit. I'll talk about that in a second. And then we review the financial statements. The town does prepare their own financial statements, so we go through the process of reviewing those and tying those out to the numbers that we were auditing. So as a result of that, those different periods of the audit, there are 4 different reports or letters that we issue. The first one's our audit opinion. That's our main report on your financials. We also issue a government audit standards report, a single audit report, and then a separate letter called the communication with those charged with governance. So I will go over the results of each of these. First one here is the main one, our independent auditor's report. This is our opinion on your financial statements to indicate whether or not they're fairly stated or correct. 4 different types of opinions an auditor can give. You want it unmodified, and that's what we have here. It's a clean audit opinion. It says that the financial statements as presented are materially correct. Definitely good news. The next report we issue is called the Government Audit Standards Report, also known as the Yellow Book Report. The main thing to know about this is, I mentioned, especially during our interim phase of the audit, a lot of our procedures, we concentrate on your internal controls. If we have any deficiencies, that we note any deficiencies in your controls, we're required to put those in one of 3 categories. Material weakness is the most severe. It's a major breakdown in controls to the point that the numbers themselves could be wrong. Next one down is a significant deficiency. The least severe of the 3 is called a control deficiency. And if we have something at that lowest level, we can issue a separate management letter. But the main thing to know here is if it was reached a level of material weakness or significant deficiency, it would get included in this report in a standard format. So good news, no material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, or if we also had any compliance exceptions, we would put them on this report. I mentioned a second ago the single audit report. That's the uniform guidance. Any agency in the United States that receives more than $750,000 in federal funds in a given year is required to get this additional single audit. This year, we looked at 2 different programs, the Highway Planning and Construction and the Home Investment Partnerships Program. We have an unmodified or clean opinion on both of those. Definitely good news there. The single audit really is we select a lot of additional samples and test those numbers to make sure they're in compliance with the funding. Next report we issue, it's actually a letter. It's called Communication to the Board or those charged with governance. In addition to our audit opinion, we're required to communicate some additional things under the audit standards directly to you. And this letter accomplishes that. Very standard letter here. We let you know whether or not there's any estimates in your financial statements. All financial statements are going to have some sort of estimate, most common being depreciation. Here we also have the OPEB liability as well as the net pension liability. Both of those are considered to be estimates because they're based on an actuarial study. If we had any difficulties in performing the audit, we would let you know. We did not. Big one here is no audit adjustments. When we're presented with our trial balance at the beginning of the audit, that's what we use to test, to pull samples, to look at things. If we note any errors, we record those as an audit adjustment. Almost always we have a couple. So the fact that there's no audit adjustments really says a lot about the quality of the people you have there in finance doing the work. And from a council perspective, it's good news because you receive financial information throughout the year. And if you're part of an organization that has a lot of adjustments at the end of the year that the auditor has to make, you may want to question that financial information that you're looking at throughout the year. So here, the fact that there's no audit adjustments is very, very good news. Well, the last one here, we did not issue this year, but I wanted to point it out. I mentioned earlier, if we have any deficiencies in your internal controls that rise to the level of material weakness or significant deficiency, they go on that government audit standards report. If we have one that's a control deficiency of the least of the three, we can report it on this management letter. And as you can see, we had none this year. We had 3 in the prior year, all of which were implemented during the year. So in summary, this is as good as it gets. Unmodified or clean opinion on the financial statements, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. Single audit had no findings related to the federal, no management letter comments, and no adjusting journal entries. So I would like to thank Nikki, Regina, Kim, the rest of the finance staff for working with us through this difficult remote audit situation that we were in. Let me stop my sharing. And as I mentioned, I mean, those are excellent audit results. Not all of the presentations I do are like that. So that really says a lot about the quality of the people you have there, too. As many things as we look at and sample sizes and all that we pull to ultimately end up with really good audit results like that says a lot about the quality of the staff you have there. So thanks again, Nikki. And Kim, too.
Yeah, thank you for being so flexible. This definitely was an interesting year to try and do the audit.
No doubt. No, you guys did a great job. The financials too. Just another quick comment. We have a very tight turnaround from when we do the field end of the field work up until now. To be presenting at the beginning of December is a very fast turnaround. You prepare your own financial statements. We have other clients that prepare their own financial statements, and it definitely does not go very well. You do, Nikki and Regina and Kim, an excellent job of preparing those financials. So we are really just tying that out to our audit work. So there's not a lot of changes we have to make. And without you taking the time to prepare such a quality financial, there's no way we'd be able to turn it around so fast that I'd be presenting here in December. So thank you very much for that.
All right.
Nikki or Kim? Nikki, you want anything to add?
I have a presentation. I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen. Oh, here you go. This one. Okay. All right. So we have a short presentation to help with our new council members, just to give you guys a brief understanding of what's included in the comprehensive annual financial report, how you can go about reading these, and then, because it doesn't work. Oh, here we go. And then also some of our results from fiscal year 2019-2020. We're going to give you a short preview of our budget schedule because that is coming right up. And then we will open up for any questions and present the recommendation for you. So this presents the outline for our comprehensive annual financial report. The item highlighted in green is the auditor's report that Justin was speaking about. They prepared that letter and it gives the results of our audit and whether or not our financial statements are presented fairly. The letter of transmittal and the management discussion and analysis present a narrative of the financial situation of the town and also how to read the financial statements, also highlighting some important numbers from those statements. And they're very useful for someone new to reading government financial statements. Government financial statements are a little bit weird, so it can definitely help to read those to familiarize yourself. And then the rest of the sections present the financial transactions of the town in a variety of different formats. So there's 2 types of statements that we have in our financial statements. The first is a balance sheet. It reports the assets, liabilities, and equity transactions. And it's these are transactions that roll forward every year. The balances do change, but these transactions are the consistent transactions. The other type of statement is the income statement. The income statement presents the revenues, expenditures, and transfers. This statement does go by a variety of names throughout the report. So if you just remember that there's a lot of confusing names, but it all presents the same information, just for different types of transactions. And these are the transactions that actually, the balances for these accounts refresh at the beginning of each fiscal year, and the results of these accounts rolls into our balance sheet account at the end of the year. So we account for specific pots of money in something called a fund, and a fund has a set of self-balancing accounts. So each fund has its own set of assets, liabilities, revenues, expenses, and equity. We have 3 types of funds for government accounting. The first is governmental, and governmental funds are like our primary type of funds. They're supported by taxes or intergovernmental revenues. Some examples of our governmental funds include the general fund, our Measure R and Measure V sales tax funds, the traffic impact fee funds. There's many more. We also have business type funds or enterprise funds, and these are supported by user fees. Typically, these types of funds generate the revenues necessary to operate. The town operates 4 business type funds, including the parking fund, the transit fund, the solid waste fund, and the building and safety fund. And the third type of fund is the fiduciary fund. And that is money that is held in trust for a specific purpose. The town currently only has one type of fiduciary fund, the Redevelopment Successor Agency. And that one also has some weird reporting requirements. So you may not see it everywhere in the financial statements, but yeah, you'll see it presented separately. The financial transactions are presented 2 ways. The first is government-wide. The government-wide statements have a longer-term focus than our other statements. They also are, they present less detail and a more summary view of the transactions. All the financial transactions of the town are rolled up into either governmental or business type activity. And it excludes the fiduciary fund. I told you that's a special one, so it's not included in our government-wide. The financial statements are also presented as fund financial statements, and these types of statements present our financial transactions with more detail and it's less summary. And the governmental, business type, and fiduciary funds are each presented on their own different statements. The measurement focus for these fund statements is on the near term, which kind of means that we're looking at the 60-day period following the close of the fiscal year with some exceptions. Yeah, it's a little different than our government-wide statements. We do present a reconciliation between our fund statements to the government-wide for our governmental activities. So you can kind of see how we got from our governmental fund statements all the way to our government-wide statements if you're getting really interested about financial data. And other notable sections of the financial statements include the notes. The notes are include a very detailed narrative regarding the financial transactions, how we account for things, how we calculate estimates. They also provide more detail regarding some of the numbers that are aggregated into the statements, including for cash and investments, especially for capital assets, and also for our long-term debts and our pension obligations. We also provide budgetary comparison schedules, which show the difference between our adopted budget, our amended budget, and the actuals for our budgeted funds. That can be a useful tool to look at to see kind of how our controls over our money. And then we also, this started last year, but we now present the statistical section, which includes 10-year financial trends, our revenue and debt capacity, demographic and economic information, and some operating indicators. And that's used to help people get a more holistic picture of how the town, how the town's financial situation is how it's looking. And now we're going to look at some of our fiscal year end results. So government-wide, our 3 biggest sources of revenue include charges for services, property tax, and sales tax. That's slightly different. Normally we present to council, we present our three biggest sources of revenue for our general fund, which are property tax, sales tax, and transient occupancy tax. So slightly different when we look at government wide. And then in terms of government wide expenses, our top three spending categories are public works, general government, and public safety. And that's been pretty consistent for the past several years. General government includes the town manager, admin services, just kind of like the main administrative type functions for the town. And then we separate out below that. Looking at some of the numbers between our last fiscal year, 2019, and our current fiscal year, 2020, our ending fund balance did increase slightly. Which was mainly due to an increase in our capital asset balance and our restricted fund balance. In terms of our change in net position, we did have we had a higher change. So like we had more revenue over expenses in 2019 than we did in 2020. That was primarily related to a $5.1 million contribution of capital in 2019. That was like a one-time event. If we take out that contributed capital piece, then we're looking at a pretty similar change in net position. Considering the COVID-19 situation and its impact on the town's revenues, that's a very positive outcome for the year. And I think we really need to, commend the town's leadership and the town council for having good fiscal responsibility and then also just the resiliency of our town. So that's a really good result. So the town creates their financial statements under the guidance of what's called the GASB, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. Two different GASBs of the town complies with our GASBs. We comply with all of them, but two of the ones that are becoming a very hot topic for us are GASB 68 and GASB 75. And these provide the guidance on how the town has to report our government-wide liability for our pension and other post-employment benefits. So this balance reports the portion of any unfunded actuarial liability on our balance sheet related to our pension or OPEB. And these are not liabilities that we're expected to pay right now. They're paid down over time, and their balances do fluctuate annually because they're based on actuarial assumptions, which do change. They basically represent the total cost of accrued benefits that the employee has. The town pays a portion of that cost every year, but the GASB says that we have to estimate the total cost that's going to be owed for each employee, and this liability represents that total cost. So it is something we keep an eye on, but since since we're not expected to pay it this year and it can fluctuate, we don't freak out about it. So yes, it's a big number, but we are managing it to the best of our ability and keeping an eye on it. And next, we're going to look at our general fund. So this presents the general fund results in a format similar to our budget. And as you can see, we ended the fiscal year with $3.6 million, slightly lower than our fiscal year 2019 result. And that was primarily due to a drawdown in fund balance for capital, which we planned to do. As you can see, we budgeted to spend $7 million. We only ended up spending $5.9 million, and that was primarily due to timing differences in those capital projects. Hard to time those, especially during a pandemic. And then this page, it starts with our ending fund balance, and it just shows you how we have allocated this money. we do create savings pots to help us save for different outcomes. So our biggest savings pot is our general fund contingency, and that's for emergencies. And we ended the year with a $7.4 million balance. And then these, like we have the road maintenance reserve, economic development designation. These are all savings pots that council has set aside portions of the general fund equity for future capital projects that they want the town to be able to take advantage of, or different things that we know we need to prepare for. So those balances are presented here. This table shows the financial transactions for our enterprise funds. So all three of our funds ended the year with a positive undesignated net position. Transit ended the year with a negative undesignated net position, but that's primarily due to the large capital asset balance that they have. Buses are expensive. So we're doing, our enterprise funds are doing well. Only transit ended the year with a negative net change. Otherwise, our enterprise funds also ended the year with a positive net change, as did our overall government's funds. It is so weird talking to a screen, so I'm sorry if I'm talking very fast. So we also wanted to talk about how we get successful financial transactions and provide an accurate financial statement. And the way we do that is something called internal controls. And internal controls are processes and procedures that we establish to ensure the accurate collection of all of our financial data. And they help us reduce asset loss. They help us prevent incomplete information gathering. And it helps to ensure that our operations are occurring in accordance with all laws, regulations, and ordinances that come from council, that come from the state of California. They help us ensure that we're in compliance. It does take a team. Internal controls can't just be me, Regina, and Kim saying you have to do this. We have to have participation from every level of the organization. And because we have these accurately presented financial statements, that's a testament to the whole town's participation in these processes and their compliance with them. So we always like to thank our whole town staff for their help and their compliance and their work on these, because it really does take a team. Monitoring is a critical component of this process, of the internal control process. So if we're not ensuring compliance with our internal controls, then they're pretty much useless. So we definitely are working with our townwide partners in ensuring that they understand our processes and procedures and that they have the tools in order to comply with them. So that is definitely, we just want to thank our town staff, and we also wanted to brag about how great our town is to the council, because they have been doing a great job. And we just wanted to re-highlight that the town did receive an unmodified opinion. As Justin stated, that means a clean audit. It's the highest level of assurance that auditors can provide in terms of the reliability of our financial statements. And it means that they are materially free of errors. So coming right up, we are going to be starting our budget process. The town really has a pretty lengthy budget process. It takes about 6 months, and it's going to start this year in February for council with a council priority setting. And then during that time, town staff will be working on pulling together their draft numbers. Town staff is going to be expected to submit their draft numbers to us mid-February and the beginning of March. And on March 31st will be the public's first opportunity to really help us make decisions about the budget when we bring some of the high-level budget constraints to council for our 4-hour meeting. And at that point, we're going to kind of let council know what constraints we have and kind of get some high-level direction from them on how we can address those and if there's any other priorities that they want us to incorporate. In the week of April 5th, town staff is going to be meeting with the town manager in in-depth budget meetings where we'll go over each operating budget and each capital project in detail and kind of hammer out and make sure that those are in line with council priorities and also supporting the main operations, the town's essential services. May 20th will be the public's second opportunity to participate in our budget process. We're going to have a 6-hour meeting with council where we go over the draft budget with them in detail, and they can provide any other additional guidance, clarification, or redirection at that point. And then we hope to get the budget adopted at the first meeting in June, which is June 8th. So with that, I'm going to open it up for any questions, and I apologize if I talked really fast. It's just so weird talking, presenting to a screen.
You did your usual professional job, Nikki, so thank you very much. Really amazing what you and Kim and the rest of your team continue to put together year after year. So congratulations and thank you for all of that information. It really helps us, helps to manage the town's fiscal outlook really year to year. Jen, did you want to add something?
I did. Thank you. I just want to extend my appreciation and congratulations to the entire town team. When I was looking to interview here and preparing, the first 3 documents I read were the budget, the CAFR, and the general plan and the existing conditions report. First question I asked, I think, of the finance department was who compiles the financial statements, and was very impressed that it was the town staff themselves and it was not outsourced to the auditors. And as Nikki pointed out, this audit is a testament to the entire town team. It's every level in the organization, from following our purchasing policies, submitting invoices and payment requests. It really touches on everybody. So congratulations to the entire town team. Special shout out to the finance department and Nikki, Kim, and Regina for their extra work and efforts in getting to the standard. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, great. Any council member questions or comments, starting with Tony?
Doing comments
now you're in front of me.
So I think I've said this a few times, the integrity, the diligence, the maturity of this town in their financial world is what allowed us, before we knew that COVID wasn't going to devastate our economy locally, mostly because of real estate building and tourism. We were in such a good position because of everything this group has done. And I think it's not just out of that group, it's through the entire staff. And it's what has most impressed me about the town of Truckee and the entire group and how professional they are. So thank you guys for keeping us pointing in the right direction. And people can debate whether we spend our money on the right things or not, but they can't debate whether we are at least fiscally responsible and watching where our money is going. So thank you guys.
Well said, Tony. Thank you. Jessica?
Yeah, I loved in Justin's presentation when you finished it saying this is as good as it gets. That just speaks to the quality of the reporting that's been done. And over the past several years, at least for me, it's just kind of become the norm. And I feel like it's important that we remained mindful. We never take it for granted, and to communicate how appreciated it is that we're consistently at this as good as it gets level of quality in financial reporting. I think it's absolutely critical to maintain the financial health of our community, and knowing that we're in really good hands is just solidifies them.
I will second what Jessica and Tony just said. Incredible work. These kinds of reports don't happen by accident. They happen because of diligent work all along. And, commend Kim, Nicole, the entire team in finance and administration for what we're looking at. And Justin, thank you for the overview as well. I never would have thought of the descriptor as unmodified opinion meaning something great and stellar, but now I'll always remember that an unmodified opinion means that. So good to know. And the other thing that kind of stuck out for me was looking at the expense pie chart. And you look at where all the expenses go, and you can look down at the very lower left corner, and it said 1% for debt service. That's pretty impressive too, when you consider all of the things that we have going on here. So 1% for debt service. So congratulations, and the town's in good hands and in good shape.
Thank you. What an excellent point to make there, David. Thank you so much for that on the debt service. That is very strategic and extremely well done. And +1 to everything. I will only add, Kim, your introduction letter is truly a work of art, comprehensive review of everything we have going on here, programs, functions, priorities, commitments. So I encourage anybody who hasn't read that introduction to do so. It's really well done and a testament to all that the town staff has been able to accomplish, especially during this very, very challenging year. So thank you.
I think you guys summed it up quite well, so I will leave it at that and continue on our program. Thank you very much, Justin. Kim, you want to say? Yes, I see you, Kim. Go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, but you do need to take action, Mr. Mayor, please.
Sorry.
Accept
we're accepting it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So Nikki will put that slide
so
up.
much good feeling here tonight. We were just moving that right along. So thank you for that reminder. And let me open public comment first. Any public comment? Seeing none, closing public comment. And the recommendation on the table is to accept the 1920 annual financial report and audit. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we accept the 2019-20 comprehensive annual financial report and audit.
Thank you, David.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jessica. And Judy will do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Commendatore.
Yes.
Councilmember Abrams.
Yes.
Councilmember Tierman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Klövstad.
Aye.
Mayor Pallavi.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think we heard Anna there. She was just quiet. Yeah. Great. Thank you all very much. And again, thank you very much to the Finance Department for that very thorough report. Item 7.2, Town Attorney Performance-Based Pay. Thank you, Justin. See you later. Appreciate it. Kim, take it away on item 7.2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a PowerPoint for this, but I will walk you through it very quickly. As the council is well aware, based on the town attorney's contract, you all perform an annual evaluation of our town attorney. You did that at your December 10th meeting in closed session. And based upon that evaluation, you gave, or I'm suggesting here that you give our town attorney, Andy Morris, the same compensation item that any town employee would receive based on our pay for performance program. And so because he is at the top of his pay range, that would be a one-time amount that he earned based on his performance. And that's all I have, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Kim. Andy, was there anything you wanted to say before we take some action on this?
I just wanted to point out, as always, that you're under no obligation to give me anything at all, and you shouldn't feel compelled to.
We don't. Thank you. We appreciate your service greatly. You had a very stellar recommendation and review when we went through that about 4 weeks ago, and we appreciate your continued service to this community and to the town of Truckee. So thank you. Any council member questions before we move to deliberation? Seeing none, I got a computer in front of me, so I'm not craning my neck anymore. Thank you all. I can look at you. And any public comment on this, Judy? Nope. Okay, public comment's open and closed. And any deliberation or a motion by council, please.
Mr. Mayor, if I can remind council, you do need to read out the amount.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2020-79 awarding $7,861.59, a one-time performance-based pay amount to our town attorney, Andy Morris.
Well done.
I will second that.
Thank you, David. Motion by Tony, seconded by David Tierman. And roll call, please, Judy.
Yes. Councilmember Commendatore.
Yes.
Councilmember Abrams.
Yes.
Councilmember Tierman.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Klovstad.
Aye.
Mayor Pallavi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Okay. That was our official business of our existing council, I should say. We're going to move into our election program. We're going to start out with item 8.1, which is going to be a certification of our election results, and then we will move into some recognitions and then oath of office for our new council members, and we'll have a whole bunch of comments going on throughout all of that. So, Judy, why don't you start us off, and then we'll bring it back.
Great, and I'm going to go ahead and ask IT now to take our 3 new council members out of the waiting room on the Zoom call. So this resolution in front of you is to certify the results of the election that Nevada County conducted and we assisted with. The results of that are that Courtney Henderson and Lindsay Romack received 4-year term seats, and Jan Zabriskie a 2-year term seat. In addition, the Measure K was passed with a resounding 84.5%. So the current council needs to vote to certify this election process.
Current council, do I have a motion to certify the election process?
I move that we certify the election results.
I second.
And Judy will take a roll call.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Commendatore.
Aye.
Councilmember Abrams.
Aye.
Councilmember Tierman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Klovstad.
Aye.
And Mayor Pallavi.
Aye.
Thank you all.
And I would like to add one more thing just before we move on, and that is a big thank you to everybody in the community for the support and passage of Measure K. As many of you probably know, that was put on the ballot by the town council, and we supported it throughout its campaign. And I also would like to really extend a big thanks to all of our candidates that took place, not just in our council race, which saw a great number of interested candidates, but in all of the races throughout town. It takes a lot to put yourself out there. It takes a lot to invest in a campaign, and it takes a lot of energy, and even more so when there's no playbook, as we had this year during a pandemic. There was really no rules. It was charting new territory. So to all of the candidates out there, obviously including the 3 who are joining us this evening, just a congratulations and a thank you for putting yourselves out there and giving it a shot, because it's no easy task, and it's a really unique experience to go through as well. So wanted to say that. With that, we are now going to we're going to recognize our 3 outgoing council members. We're going to handle these individually, just so everybody knows how this is going to work. I will read the formal proclamation starting with each one, and we will allow for comments from your fellow council members, and then we'll finish with each of the outgoing council members' comments or statements if you'd like to say anything, and there's clearly no pressure to do that. So up first is Jessica. You ready, Jessica?
I'm ready.
All right, here you go. This is your formal proclamation. Whereas Jessica Abrams, and here for everybody to see, just so you know that you're actually going to get something for all of your service over the past 4 years. This is it. Whereas Jessica Abrams was originally appointed to the Truckee Town Council in 2016. Whereas during Jessica's term of office, she actively served on a variety of council committees and activities, including the Marketing and Visitor Services Committee, the 25th Anniversary Subcommittee, the League of California Cities Liaison, and the Truckee Chamber Liaison. And whereas during these 4 years of service, Jessica worked tirelessly on behalf of the community, volunteering for any task that might better the town and its government. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the mayor of the town of Truckee that I commend Jessica for her dedication and service to the citizens of this community and for the leadership and guidance which you provided during your tenure in office. I further proclaim that the mayor extends his sincere best wishes to Jessica for the future, and I urge you to continue providing advice and counsel to future town councils as issues may warrant. So thank you, Jessica. And we'll kind of go in the same order that we started with. So we'll let Tony go first. If there's anything you'd like to add, please do. And we'll bring it back around and we'll let Jessica finish.
Yeah. Jessica, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your kindness and inclusion. It's great to know you. I know a conversation you and I had way back when I first got on town council. We were out at the arena riding on a couple horses, and we were talking about your experience of raising your hand and stepping up for town council, and no matter what the world thinks, you did that, and you stepped up when nobody else did, and I commend you for that, and thank you for doing that for our town. It means a lot, and even people can say whatever they want to say, but that was a very, 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 very good thing you did. It was great. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for accepting me this last year and a few months, however long it's been, as one of your fellow town council members. Thank you.
David?
Jessica, I can't believe 4 years have passed since you and I together on a cold December night were both sworn in and started this journey that has taken us to where we are tonight. I'll recall that at the time you had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're now, I believe, 6 and 8. And what a difference 4 years can make in their lives and certainly in yours. And I've always appreciated your very thoughtful and deliberate approach to decision making. I saw you really grow into this into the role over the course of the tenure, and our town is better off for your participation in our local democracy. And it's been a real pleasure, having gotten to know you much better over the course of this time, both personally and in our professional role on the council. And I'm glad, that it all went well, and looking forward to seeing you in other ways off the council once we're both off. So thank you again for your dedicated service, and really appreciate that.
Jessica, I'm going to miss you. I just so admire your commitment to this council and this community. To do this as a single mom of 2 young kids is truly extraordinary, and I have a huge admiration and respect for your service and your commitment. You've always provided really unique insights, and I have relied upon your financial acuity, and I'm going to miss that drastically. So in the future, if I have some questions, I might be giving you a call. I just really wish you all the best in the future, and am so grateful for your time and service and the time that we shared on council together.
Yeah, and Jessica, you and I have known each other for almost 20 years, I think, back since when we first moved here. I remember a lot of that, and, you know, I'll always really... I really appreciate everything that you've done up here. You gave me my first start here at the town of Truckee. I was your planning commissioner. So I'll always remember that day you and I were at Truckee Bagel, which has unfortunately recently closed. And you told me your kids were so young and everything. And I was incredibly impressed with your desire to take on this role. And you've just really grown into it immensely, and your professionalism is incredible. Really what stands out to me is your passion for the community, and the desire to do right was really always your top priority. And you always brought your smile, just like you have been tonight, and your energy. And similar to Anna, your financial expertise has been just absolutely critical over the years. So thank you so much for your service, and we're going to miss you. Now it's your turn if you want to say anything.
Yes, thank you. The first time I had an opportunity to speak publicly at the dais, I wrote down what I was going to say because I was much less sure of myself at that point. But now the last time that I'm going to speak, I also wrote down what I wanted to say just to be sure that all of my thoughts are in order. I so appreciate all of your kind words, and I'm probably going to cry, but it happens. So as I reflected over the last 4 years, there's so much that I've learned. There's so many priceless experiences and lessons and memories, and words cannot express the gratitude that I have for being trusted by our community to help guide our town. In 2016, I came onto council appointed in lieu of election, and I had no idea what I was getting into. I knew I loved my community. I knew I wanted to be more involved, and that was it. Now, as I look back, there's been so many ups and downs. There's been meetings where it seems like the entire town is watching and completely divided. There's been meetings where nobody shows up except for council and staff. My skin has become thicker, and my empathy for all opinions and perspectives has become more sensitive. I've laughed, I've cried, I've lost sleep. I've learned so much. I've learned about the lifespan of asphalt. I've learned about what goes into keeping our roads clear all winter and our streets safe all year round. I've learned how we cooperate with other local entities to ensure that our town runs smoothly as a whole. And I've learned a ton about cannabis and a little bit about grocery stores too. I've learned how we all need to work together and how we are all doing our best to maintain the safety and the character of our community while also allowing it to grow and succeed as needed. I am ever grateful for all of our town staff, as well as other leaders in the community, in helping to support me every step along the way. I'm so very thankful for my fellow council members, prior and current, in always being respectful, even though we might disagree, and in trying to keep things light whenever possible, even when things get heavy. I'm very thankful for my planning commissioners. First, Dave Polivy, as you had mentioned, prior to your being elected to council, and now Dave Gov. Both of you have gifted me the ability to trust that you would bring balance and logic to Planning Commission, and I thank you for that peace of mind and for your dedicated service. I want to welcome the new council members, Courtney and Lindsay and Jan. I trust that as you take the reins, you will also lead Truckee in the best direction. This has been the most difficult year that anybody can imagine. And please know, especially as we continue to move through this pandemic in difficult times, that you are respected and appreciated, and that I feel our community will be in great hands under your leadership. You have an absolutely amazing staff to work with, and I have every confidence in Jen coming on as our new town manager. David, you mentioned this. When I first sat on the dais, my children were 2 and 4 years old. Now my son is 6, my daughter is 8. I'm so proud to have had the opportunity to be a role model in community involvement for them. And now I'm excited to move forward as the treasurer of the PTA for their school. But I also plan to continue my service to Truckee, especially focusing on a new library, which will be such a well-deserved benefit for our town. So in closing, I will always look back at my time on council with fondness. And again, I appreciate so much the opportunity to participate with leading our community for a time. That's it.
Thank you. This is really hard doing this virtually. I know everybody out there might be watching us or whatever, but not being able to look each other in the eye. Sorry, I'm even emotional. I haven't even said anything other than to you guys. But, I think Jessica really sums it up so well, that the 5 of us spend so much time together over the years that you really look to each other as your friend and partially family at the end of the day. So I'll try to pull it back together here. Okay. We're going to move on to David Tierman. You're up, Mr. Tierman. Your proclamation reads, whereas David Tierman was originally appointed to the Truckee Town Council in 2016, and whereas during David's tenure, his fellow council members selected him to lead the council as mayor in 2019. Whereas during his terms of office, he actively served on a variety of council committees and activities, including the Solid Waste Citizens Advisory Board, Mayor-Manager, League of California Cities Division Representative, the Library Committee, the Truckee River Basin Water Group, the Truckee Tahoe Airport Land Use Commission, Legislative Correspondence Committee, the Mountain Housing Council, the General Plan Update Committee, Reimagine Bridge Street, Nevada County Remote Access Network Board. I think you started and maybe led the Truckee Sister City Committee, and the Nevada County Redevelopment Successor Agency Oversight Board. And whereas during these 4 years of service, David worked tirelessly on behalf of the community, volunteering for any task that might better the town and its government. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by me, the mayor of the town of Truckee, that I commend David Tierman for your dedication and service to the citizens of this community, and for the leadership and guidance which you provided during your tenure in office. Further proclaim that the mayor extends his sincere best wishes to David Tierman for the future, and also urge you to continue providing advice and counsel to future town councils as issues may warrant. So thank you, David Tierman, so much for your service over the past 4 years. And Tony, if you're okay with it, we'll go in the same order. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, David, where to start? So first of all, you were mayor when I was appointed, and for the three new people, it's overwhelming on this first meeting. It's overwhelming walking in. And what David did for me was he, in a sense, figuratively and maybe actually, put his arms around me, brought me in, guided me along the way, kind of helped me feel like I was part of the group. He was very, very warm and very considerate. And that made this entry into this thing called town council a lot easier. David, you've been, this last 14 months has been great working with you. And I really appreciate the elder statesman, and not just that you're older than me, but because you're actually a lot wiser than I am and have a lot more experience than me. And being able to come back to you and have conversations with you, whether we ever agreed or disagreed on things, it didn't really matter. It was always great to have you. And the fact that you really care about this town, and just like Jessica, you raised your hand, you stepped in and said you would do something when nobody else would, means a lot to me as a community member. Thank you for that. Thank you for your service. And I look forward to staying in touch with you.
Jessica?
Oh, David, I can't believe it's been 4 years since we were sworn in together. I so admire your thoughtfulness and your insight. The way that you're able to so concisely formulate your thoughts into words with an overall perspective that just takes every input into consideration. You have been a rock for council during challenging times, and you've been an amazing comic relief in easier times. I know my children have had a blast with you whenever they're in town hall. I've really enjoyed working with you. You're like a mentor, and I look forward to still seeing you in Rotary and around the community. I'm going to miss every second and fourth Tuesday, but I look forward to the new chapter and really appreciate having had the opportunity and really getting the respect. I came in maybe less experienced than you, not being from an industry that had anything to do with running of a town. And you've always been so respectful and kind and considerate. And that's just so, I noticed and saw and really appreciate it. So thank you.
Councilmember Tierman. I am so grateful for your mentorship. We've all mentioned this. You truly have been a great mentor to all of us, and that is going to be sorely missed. I've learned something from you at every council meeting. Your questions always make me think, and I so appreciate that. I'm going to really miss your calm and clear demeanor. It helps bring all of us into that state. And I hope that I can bring that forward in your emulance. I really hope you stay involved in GPAC. Your knowledge and experience in that arena is so valuable. So please stay involved. And I don't think it was actually listed on the proclamation, but I know you're kind of moonlighting a little bit on the library too. So I hope both Councilmember Abrams and Councilmember Tierman continue to invest time and energy in that very, very worthy vision for our community. So thank you. Thank you very much for your service.
Yeah, David. So many of the words that everybody's used to describe you, I also had here as descriptors, and also all of the teachings. Being the predecessor to my mayorship, while none of us knew what 2020 would bring, you certainly absolutely gave me the tools to succeed. After watching you in my first year up here on council during your mayorship, leadership, really just with the way that you ran the meetings and how you really respected every single person that spoke to us when back in the days when we could actually have people speak to us in person, are fond memories of really some of the things I've learned from you. My daughter still asks about you all the time. You absolutely have made a dent in her and how she has grown up after you recognized her after she attended a few meetings as well back in the day. And really, so many of the same words, your calm demeanor, your thoughtful insight, your absolutely incredible professionalism when things would get emotional or heated or, people would start yelling or whatever it would be during some of the more tense council meetings. Just that incredible professionalism was always on display, and it was just really impressive to watch. I do also believe we're going to miss all of that, but your development expertise, the skill set you brought to council, your architectural perspective is something I'm really going to miss, because all of that shed so much light on so many projects and programs that are really happening here. So my sincerest of thank yous, David. And as well, you and I have known each other for a long time, and I hope that our friendship continues.
Wow. I am so touched by all of your kind words, and I really love all of you. Tony, Jessica, Anna, and Dave. It took collaboration on all of our parts to make things happen, and I'm truly touched by your extremely kind words, and I'll look forward to continuing our relationships outside of council going forward. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thinking back, it has been 4 years, and I actually went, and you're going to think this is a little bit crazy, but I went back and counted how many council meetings we had. How many agenda items we dealt with. It was a Sunday afternoon, so I had some time to do that. And we have had over 90 council meetings during that 4-year period, addressing roughly 800 consent calendar items and discussion items. Related to policy, related to regulation, related to budgetary decisions. So needless to say, we got a lot done, and it was all aimed at trying to make Truckee an even better place. So for that, I thank all of you, the 4 of you, for helping make that happen. And I also wanted to thank the past council members, Morgan Goodwin, Carolyn Wallace-D, who we saw earlier tonight, and Patrick Flora, along with you, Dave, and Anna, and Tony, and Jessica, who again began the journey with me 4 years ago. So it took a lot of collaboration and on everyone's part, and terrific team. So in addition to that, I wanted to thank Jerusha Hall, who was my appointed planning commissioner and has served with dedicated service to the community over the last 4 years. So thank you, Jerusha, for all of your hard work. Also want to thank the department heads at the town and the entire team and staff. I've got to know quite a few of you very, very well, and I will always cherish that. And thank you for the friendship and the professionalism as well. And then finally, thank you to the Truckee community. We have a very engaged citizenry. There's a lot of passion in our town, and a lot of valuable input was provided along the way. So thank you for that. When I think back, when I came onto council, I actually had a candidate platform, but I never really had a campaign. But my platform was all about helping to protect and enhance the qualities that make Truckee such a great place in which to live and work. And that included a focus on looking for ways to expand our housing opportunities, open space and environmental protection, enhancing the heart and soul of our community, which is our historic downtown, expanding our bike and trail networks, and supporting our business community. And I think as a council, a lot of good progress was made along those lines during our tenure. So one of my hopes for the new council as I step down is that there will be continued support and collaboration with Nevada County around all of the momentum and hard work that is going towards the vision of a new state-of-the-art regional library for Truckee. So hopefully that effort continues. And when I was new, I'll always remember the wisdom of one of the departing council members, and he said something that was so simple yet so profound. And that was always think about what is in the best interest of this community, the best interest of Truckee. So for the incoming council members, Courtney Henderson, Lindsay Romack, and Jan Zabriskie, I say let that simple advice be a guiding light. At the end of the day, decisions are judgment calls. And sound judgment is why the community has entrusted you to become council members. And I feel that our town is going to be in fantastic hands looking ahead. So, thank you, everyone. It was a true honor to have served the community. I'm going to miss all of you, but I hope to see you around town. And I do plan to remain very engaged in Truckee. And lastly, I just wanted to wish everybody a very safe, a very healthy, and a very wonderful holiday season. So thank you.
Your virtual applause. Thank you, David. And it was truly a pleasure to serve with you. All right, Tony, it's your turn. Tony's proclamation reads, whereas Tony Commendatore was originally appointed to the Truckee Town Council in September of 2019, and whereas during his terms of office, he actively served on a variety of council committees and activities, including Reimagine Bridge Street Advisory Group, the Transit Center Relocation Feasibility Study Advisory Committee, the Revenue Measure for Housing Advisory Committee, the Truckee River Basin Water Group, and the Nevada County Economic Resource Council. Whereas during Tony's service, the council navigated the COVID-19 pandemic along with the regular business of the town government. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor of the town of Truckee that I commend Tony Commendatore for his dedication and service to the citizens of this community, and for the leadership and guidance which you provided during your tenure in office. I further proclaim that I extend my sincere best wishes to Tony Commendatore for the future and urge you to continue providing advice and counsel to future town councils as issues may warrant. And in a year, slightly over a year and a half, that's a lot of committees that you were able to participate on, Tony. Well done. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jessica.
Oh, Tony. So you mentioned it takes courage to throw your hat in the ring and to stand up and say, hey, I'll do this. But you did just that as well. And I really appreciate your courage to stand up and say, hey, this is something that I can do. This is something I'm interested in. I feel like you've brought an amazing uniqueness with your ability to be fearless around vocalizing your opinion, even when it maybe doesn't go with the grain, and to offer a perspective of being, a business owner in the community and impacts of decisions. that we make really on all parts of our community as a whole. It's been fun serving with you. I've loved horseback riding with you as I get to know you as a person. I've had a really good time, and I respect your perspective. I respect your input, and I appreciate your willingness to step up and serve and to show up, on the dais, even when it gets really tough. So, thank you.
David?
Tony Commendatore. When you joined council, you were appointed in, I think it was August 2019. We went through a process, and I had several conversations with you early on. We had breakfast several times. I have just always appreciated the unique perspective you brought to council. You represented kind of a different segment of the community. We're a community now of roughly 17,000 people, and I thought that you really brought a sense of new balance to the council and a perspective that we had not had before. With your business acumen, your experience in the community, a longtime community member. So I've appreciated your engagement. I've appreciated the amount of work and thought that you would put into our council discussions and deliberations. And it is difficult when you step into a moving train, which you kind of did. We had been going for years, and with Morgan Goodwin's departure, you kind of stepped right in and grabbed the bull by the horn, so to speak. And I thought you did a very admirable job getting up to speed very, very quickly. So I've appreciated your friendship, and I've appreciated all of the thought and hard work that you brought to our deliberations and to our council. And I'm glad that I've gotten to know you, and look forward to seeing you out and about in the community and getting engaged in other ways. So all the best to you, Tony.
Councilmember Commendatore, as everybody else has stated, you really did step up and step into a big role, and you did it very well. You brought a very valuable perspective to the council that I have learned a lot from, and I'm going to put it on tape here now. You have promised to take my calls so that we can continue to have these robust discussions, and that we can make sure that we are serving the entire town of Truckee. And I think that is so very important. So thank you for your service. I look forward to our conversations in the future.
Yeah, Tony, echo a lot of what's been said, but really want to commend you for your excitement and really full engagement from day one. You showed your commitment to this town. You showed your commitment to the role. You did your homework, and you showed up every single time ready with discussion items or questions or whatever it was. And it makes such a difference when, especially in the manner in which you joined council and really came in the middle of things, it's challenging, and you really got up to speed and were able to participate fully almost from day one. So I think that says a lot about you also as a person. Your insurance and professional background really has just been incredibly valuable in a lot of the things that we've been pursuing. And then obviously personally, our spirited dialogue was really always with the utmost respect and dedication to the town. I think you and I have both said it numerous times. We're both very passionate people, and we work very hard to do the right thing, even if the right thing always might be slightly a little different in our opinions, which is great, and that's really what we're up here for. So thank you for your service, and I'm sure we will continue to talk and work together post all of this council involvement. So thank you once again for stepping in as you did.
Well, thank you all for those kind words. I too wrote some things down, but it's kind of what sounded good in my head way back, yesterday and over the weekend and last week, and really goes. It doesn't. I'll just kind of speak off the top of my head here a little bit. With when I got appointed, and Jan will probably agree with me, it was very awkward. It was awkward to sit out there. It was awkward to. I think it was more awkward for you guys than it was for actually the two of us, because we just were there for the ride, and you had to talk about us in front of us and make a decision in our presence. So it was a weird way to come in, and I think the train analogy is a great one. It was moving fast, and jumping on board was an interesting time. And I look back and I chose not to run this year, and I trying to reflect on why and what was my impact, and what can I offer, what did I do, where is the world going. And it's been a really interesting world. No one saw COVID. We had some major events internally with the town in itself, some personnel decisions and things we had to do. It was very, very trying, and it was a great learning experience. I hope if that was my reason, that for some reason you guys chose me, and I was able to make a big impact, and make help through that time, and help this town get to a place that's a better place as it goes forward. Well, then I'll take my year and 14 months or however long it's been. And I'm very happy with that. But thank you so much for the opportunity for when you chose me, for to help me serve my community. It's been a blessing. I hope I have lived up to your expectations. I want to thank my planning commissioner, Dan Freeman. It's kind of like me. We both came in with a little bit of personality, different perspective, and hopefully we added value. And I think Dan did a great job doing that as well. I want to thank each and every member of the town staff of Truckee. It's been a pleasure to work with each of you. Your professionalism stands out. Your passion for a town cannot be questioned. Department heads, they brought me up to speed. But the thing about the department heads, they are here to serve the community. There's a lot of people out there who have different thoughts about what the town staff does and what they're trying to do. But they're really here to serve, and they're all pros, and they do a great job. And I really appreciate the effort that they put in throughout week by week, year by year. Jen, welcome to Truckee. You came in at an interesting way, at an interesting time, and I think you are, in a short amount of time I've known you, in a short amount of time you've been on the job, I really believe that we made a good decision. I think you're going to do great in this town. I think you're going to be a strong leader. Your executive mentality, your fiscal responsibilities are awesome, and I think that's only going to help this town go forward. Stay positive. Keep listening to all the community members, not just the loudest. Let's see here, a couple other things to scroll here. So I want to say to Anna, Anna, I think I said this a few times to you, and I'll tell everybody else the same thing. She sat next to me for the last year or so, and on the dais, and she made me better. She made me think about things that are important to me, but maybe not the same priority that I may have. But she made me better. She made me think. She made me a better person. And I hope was able to make a better impact on the town. So thanks for sitting next to me. And even though you and I always didn't see eye to eye, I really appreciate you. And Mr. Mayor, you too. We had our round and round. We went around a lot of times on a few issues, but I know it was based off of passion. I know it was based off of both of us thinking it was the right thing to do for our community. And I want to recognize you for one thing, you've done this last 12 months, or not even 12 months, 9 months, how long COVID's been going on for. You were in the role of mayor. You were dealt a hand in March, on March 16th or March 10th, when we had our last meeting. We declared emergency, whatever the date was. And despite all the different things that were going on within the town and the other organizational issues, you stepped up and you took the reins where you felt you had to, and you did a lot of work that a lot of people don't know about, and it's what made this town make this town get through this process. It took the whole town staff, of course, but you were right there at the front, leading the way, and I want to thank you for that. And I know this town's better for it. New town council members, Courtney, Lindsay, Jan. So I'll pass on my very little bit my little bit of wisdom I have in my last year here. Keep it simple. Be true to yourself. But while you're being true to yourself, remember you now represent everybody. That's a really important thing to me, is you represent everybody, even the small minority of a person whose voice is small and isn't out there. You represent that person, and it's easy to follow your agenda or what you think is important, and it's really important to stop and consider those other people as well. It may not change the outcome, but at least consider it. Keep an open mind, consider all sides, and most importantly, stay out of the weeds. I think I look at the town council as this. We're an executive body that represents the community and oversees the town manager. You have a professional staff, which is built to run the town. Let them do that job. You're a policymaker and a decision maker. And that is our role as a town council. That is what allows the town to function. And you have a town manager who plays a vital role in that picture. So best of luck to the three of you. I think the town is going to be going in a great direction with you guys, and good luck. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tony. Really well said, and your words are really heartfelt, and I think we all really feel that, so thank you. I was going to hand it over to Jen, who wanted to say a few words as well.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to say on behalf of the entire town how much we've appreciated each of you and your service to the community. Public service is a calling, and you've all epitomized that with the dedication, professionalism, and input that you've provided throughout however long your duration was on the council, whether that was 1.5 years or 4 years. So really wanted to recognize that, and also thank your families for sharing your time with us in the community. It takes a team to support anybody, whether you're a council member or staff member. So thank you to your families. Thank you to each of you for giving the time and your devotion. And it'd be remiss if I didn't say selfishly thank you for extending an invitation for me and my family to join this wonderful community, be part of this amazing town team. You will always have a special place in my heart as the council that did that. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Jen. And we didn't have any public comment. We do have some public comment, so we'd like to go to public comment on the first 3 presentations. Go ahead, Judy.
Pat Davison, item 8.1. Good evening, council members. This is Pat Davison with the Contractors Association of Truckee Tahoe. Normally, the council chambers would be filled tonight with family and friends who are here to say thank you and goodbye to David, Tony, and Jessica. That same audience would be on hand to celebrate and welcome our 3 new council members, Jan, Courtney, and Lindsay. My message tonight is a weak substitute for the smiling faces of friends and family, but please know that Kat appreciates everything all of you have done to make Truckee a better place. This year has been unique in so many ways. Dave, Anna, Jessica, David, and Tony, thanks so much for the numerous late nights, hundreds of phone calls and emails, and ongoing crisis management that became your world in 2020. Your personal lives took a back seat so you could fulfill your civic duty. Your town needed you, and you rose to the occasion. The job of a council member is tough enough without COVID thrown in the mix. You should be very proud of what you accomplished in this roller coaster year. I know I am proud of you and grateful for your time and hard work. For Jan, Lindsay, and Courtney, you start your job amid uncertainty about the future. If there is anything I learned living in Truckee, we as a town do not shrink away from problems. The community, time after time, has shown resiliency and determination. We will take control of our future, find solutions, and not let fate determine our destiny. That is something that makes Truckee different from other places and is a strength to be cherished. So if I were there tonight, I would be giving you all a standing ovation. Thank you not only for what you have done, but also for what you are yet to do to make Truckee a wonderful place to live and work. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Very nice.
This is Ted Owens, public comment for agenda item 8.1, certification of the November election and the seating of the new council members. It is an honor for me to address you this evening, and I would like to pass on my greatest thanks to council members Abrams, Commendatory, and Tierman. I know what it is to sit in the seat that you're about to vacate, and I want to thank you for your service to this community. I will tell you that you will miss this, and by the same token, you won't miss this. It is a lot of work and sometimes thankless, but no one can know what it is to serve until you've done it. To Councilmember Abrams, working full-time as a professional and a mom and a council member, that has been a load to bear. And thank you for your service and the perspectives you provided the council on so many issues and occasions. Councilmember Commendatory, thank you, sir, for jumping in and filling a void and doing with passion, voice, and concern for Truckee. And as always, willing to share your perspectives. And to Councilmember Tierman, thank you very much for your thoughtfulness and your respect of others. And as mayor, your grace and dignity that you brought to the job. As we each leave the dais, remember these words from the philosopher George Carlin. Just because you got the monkey off your back doesn't mean the circus has left town. So stay involved, share your voice, and hey, why not become one of the town elders now? It's a lot easier. To council members Zabriskie, Henderson, and Romack, congratulations. The public has entrusted you with the service on their behalf, and it will be the time of your life. And get your feet on the ground, do the best that you can for the town. No one can argue with that. The best of luck to you each. Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to have worked with the past council members, and we all look forward to working with the new council members. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. Good there? Great. I think we're good on that front. Next up, Anna, Vice Mayor Klövstad is going to make a presentation.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
May I just say one really quick thing?
Of course.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't. I just wanted to thank you, because when you step into that mayor role, your things increase threefold, fourfold in ordinary times, and then throw on top of it the public health crisis that we've all endured and have been enduring. And you know, the intensity was incredible, and you did an absolutely amazing job at the helm during very, very turbulent times. plus you had a full-time, job business to run. So I just wanted to say thank you to you for your able steering of the ship during the times we've been enduring. Great job.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
Can I echo that too?
Of course.
Because we all know that it was my turn to take on, and I didn't do vice mayor or mayor, and I'm so very grateful knowing that having a full-time job and 2 little kids and doing a household on my own was just going to be too much. And so for you really stepping up sooner than one might have expected in the way that the title kind of rotates, and then just getting completely blindsided by coronavirus and racial tensions as well. It's been a really challenging year. And so having that capacity to put our community as your priority and really stepping up more than anyone would have known or expected that you would have had to step up has not gone unnoticed. Even though we're maybe not showing up every time saying, wow, amazing, wonderful, great job, we've been focused on how do we solve a problem and how do we get through this. But really now, when we're reflecting, you've been absolutely brilliant, and I'm so proud to be able to have called you the mayor of our town. So thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. It means a lot.
Well, I'm going to be echoing a lot of that here with my presentation. As we've all kind of acknowledged, this was an extraordinary year. The role of mayor is an honor, a duty, and a responsibility. I want to thank Mayor Pallavi for his service during the most difficult year known to most of us. I don't think any of us could have imagined anything harder. So not only did you rise to every challenge that you faced, and there were many, you did so with clarity and conviction. You had the insights to know when you needed to ask for help, the determination to stay focused on our council goals, and the fortitude to keep going. I don't know how you kept going some of those days, honestly. I'm deeply, deeply grateful for all you've done for this organization and the community. And I really hope that someday more of the community understands the depth and breadth of that commitment. Your mayoral tenure will ultimately be historic in a way that I don't think anybody ever wants theirs to be. So in that vein, I really hope that you have an opportunity to serve as mayor again someday and do the fun parts that you missed out on. Because there are those parts too of being mayor, and I really hope for that for you. I want to point out that even with COVID, you presided over some major accomplishments, including, but not limited to, the Measure K approval, the development of the new visit Truckee Tahoe organization, the short-term rental ordinance, inclusive of over 400 public comments, the hiring of our new town manager, of course, the furtherment of our general plan update, inclusive of its many subgroups, keeping that wheel churning, countless media interviews between all of that going on, plus COVID and the racial justice concerns, and probably so many more of these things that really should be recognized here, but those are the ones that really stood out to me. So with that, it is my honor to have Judy Price present you with the plaque that I wish I was handing you right now for your service as mayor of the great town of Truckee.
Hold on, we're organizing ourselves here. Here's our plaque. Not sure if anybody could see that or not, but oh, there it is. Thank you, Anna. I never thought I would get one of these. Whoa, it's pretty cool. Thanks, Anna. Thank you, Jessica, David, Tony. Kept telling myself, we wouldn't be emotional this evening. We're virtual. Should be a little bit easier. Yeah. Oh well. It still sort of feels. And I just want to say a few words, really, to the community about where we've been. But obviously, this has been one heck of a year, and I'm really proud to be here representing everybody in the town of Truckee. I think that's really amazing advice that both David and Tony imparted, because it's something that we all reflect on a fairly regular basis. When I look back on this year, it's amazing to see all of the challenges that we have overcome, but also still realize the obvious battle we are fighting, and that's still in front of us. Amidst all of these challenges, our town is really going to come out of this incredibly stronger. I'm proud to say that even with all of the distractions this year, and by distractions I mean global pandemic, we are making progress on the housing front with our internal programs and our external partnerships. We're unlocking underutilized housing stock, and we're building new, innovative and needed new housing options. We're working with our lodging and tourism partners to build a sustainable tourism model that's going to help chart our path as a community forward. And we're really walking the walk when it comes to our sustainability goals. We're tracking our progress, we're investing in our future, and we're taking action now, much as we did tonight. It takes a lot of hard work to build a community, to build a resilient community. And it takes a lot of cooperation, and it takes a lot of togetherness. And after a year of being your mayor, I really have a simple message that I think encompasses for everybody, and it's really something that we're all working towards, even if we don't realize it sometimes in the heat of the moment. But that simple message is that we all want Truckee to be the best community that absolutely exists. That's why we do this. And it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter how long you've lived here, doesn't matter if you open your public comment with your resume. It doesn't matter if you live, work, play, or visit. Being a citizen is a participation sport. And when we all come together and we value our differences and we celebrate our successes, even socially distanced for now, it's easy to see the light at the end of the COVID tunnel. And that's really what I've been working towards. I also really want to thank, excuse me for one sec, the town of Truckee staff, from the department heads all the way on down, and I'm specifically going to call out one, and I know it's sort of bad form, but I really, I want to recognize Braun Roberts, our new public information officer or communications director. I remember back in March, I was walking my dog and I was on the phone, as pretty much happened every single day at 7 a.m. Still happens almost every day at 7 a.m. And Braun's Australian accent came through, and I was so relieved. This was probably about 3 weeks into the pandemic when just the communications were so intense, and Braun really stepped up, and she really helped our town communicate so much more effectively. And while I never want to single out a single staff person, because everybody is truly amazing around here, she, at least from my personal role over the past year, I wanted to recognize her. Clearly, my fellow council members, thank you. Couldn't have done it without you. And my wife, Pam, and daughter, Adina. Excuse me. but the support that my family has provided this year is immeasurable. I'm forever appreciative, and I will say thank you over and over and over that they allowed me to do this year, because they really supported me through this whole thing and helped me through it. Lastly, just a message to the community, because that's really why we serve. That's why we spent the past number of years doing what we're all doing. It's why these 3 new council members dedicated so much time and energy to their campaign. But to the community, it's time to work together. It's time to help each other. It's time to practice COVID safety. And it's time to really look within and look at your own actions to flatten the curve that we are currently experiencing. This is a serious time, and we wouldn't be having these conversations if it weren't. We can do this, but we need everybody on board. We need to not blame somebody else, and we need to look inward and do all that you can and all that we can to get past where we are right now and look forward to a prosperous 2021 and really beyond that as we can. So thank you. It's been an honor to serve as your mayor, and I look forward to passing on those reins this evening. So thank you. We got light claps in here too on the side. Thank you. All right, so now, did we want any other comments? No other comments, we're good. Okay, we're gonna keep moving here. I think we might need a break. Do you guys need a quick break? What do we gotta switch up some tech or what? I think we're okay to keep going. We're okay to keep going. Okay. Is everybody okay at home to keep going? You can just turn your video off for a second if you need to use the bathroom, but we'll keep it going. Okay. We are going to switch to a video of our swearing-in ceremony for our 3 new council members. So here you go.
Well, good afternoon, and congratulations to the 3 of you for your seats on town council. And now we're going to swear in the constitutional oath of office. So I'm going to have all of you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, in your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Lindsay Romack, do solemnly swear
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
I
bear true faith and allegiance. To the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of California. I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. And I will well and faithfully discharge. The duties upon which. I'm about to enter. High five.
Well, that was very nicely done. Thank you, Judy, and thank you to our new 3 new council members. Normally, we have cake right now. At least that's what we've had in previous years. So unfortunately, no cake tonight. But I'd really like to warmly welcome you all. I look forward to working with you, and congratulations on your win during a very I would say, contested election. So it was great. At this point, we'd like to open it up to comments from the 3 of you. So I'd like to start with Courtney Henderson. Take it away, Courtney.
Great. Thank you so much. I'd like to begin by thanking our outgoing council members, Commendatory, Abrams, and Tierman. You've worked tirelessly in service of our community, particularly during this past extremely challenging year, and I'm incredibly grateful for your service, as I know so many others are. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank our voters for participating in our democracy at unprecedented levels this year. Our community truly is stronger when we're all engaged, and we had record levels of that in this election cycle. Whether you voted for me or not, I'm here to serve you and all of our community. A huge part of my campaign was listening to our community, soliciting different viewpoints and different perspectives, and I intend to keep doing exactly that as your council member. I also promised during my campaign that I'd work to ensure we're building a healthy community and a resilient tomorrow for everyone here in Truckee. That will be my guiding star over the next 4 years. Every decision that I make, every vote that I cast up on the dais, I'll be asking myself, will this promote a healthy community for all of us? Will this advance our community's long-term resilience? I'm looking forward to working with you all towards this end. I do want to take just a moment to speak about the pandemic. This has been an incredibly challenging and unprecedented year for all of us. We're not in it alone, though. We have each other. We have our neighbors, our local businesses, and our community, and we truly are stronger together. We're not out of the woods by any means, but there certainly is light at the end of the tunnel, and I want to urge everyone to continue to be vigilant, even when that feels really hard. That will help ensure the health and safety of everyone here in Truckee and the long-term economic recovery and vibrancy for our town. I want to just end by acknowledging that everyone is working extremely hard during these times, and I'm extremely grateful for what everyone here contributes to make Truckee such a special place, a place that I'm truly proud to be able to call my home. I'm also very honored to be serving our community as one of your town council members, and I'm extremely hopeful about our future together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney. Well done. Congratulations as well. Lindsay Romack, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor Pallavi. I wanted to say thank you, like Courtney did, to lots of different folks. First up, the citizens of Truckee. As Courtney mentioned, it was incredible to see so many people come out and vote in this election, and I look forward to serving every single one of you and listening as often as I can. I've been a member of this community for a while, and I'm excited to take the next step to be able to serve you as a town council member. I want to thank the outgoing council members, Councilmember Abrams, Commendatory, and Tierman. All three of you have reached out and offered to chat and share your words of wisdom and insider baseball tips, and I really appreciate that. I think it just shows your dedication to the community to want to continue to support the town, so I appreciate that. And Mayor Pallavi and Vice Mayor Klofstad, you both also have reached out numerous times, and I appreciate that too. I really look forward to working with the two of you. I know you've done great things for this town, and I think we can continue to do that. And then now new council member Henderson and Zabriskie, again, look forward to working with you as well. And then I do also want to recognize, as Ted Owens said earlier, our town elders. You know, we heard from Ted Owens and Alicia Barr and Carolyn Wallace-D, and again, just recognizing the foremothers and forefathers of Truckee that have come before us, the legacy they've built. I look forward to continuing that, and again, continuing to make Truckee the best place it can be. And then finally, for town staff, I've gotten to know a lot of you over the past few years. I look forward to getting to know you better and working with you. And Jen, definitely welcome to Truckee. It's fun that we're coming in together as kind of newbies. So this will be great. So again, thank you to everybody, and I really look forward to serving this community.
Thank you, Lindsay. Welcome and congratulations as well. Jan Zabriskie, take it away.
My enjoyed so much listening to Lindsay and Courtney. I forgot to unmute, and I join in all of their comments. I want to thank my supporters and the voters for their trust they have placed in me. I hope to honor their trust by building on the work and the example set by our town's founders and the other members who preceded us on the council. I congratulate Lindsay and Courtney for their victory. I look forward to working with them and with our two incumbents, Anna and Dave, in making Truckee a better and safer place and protecting our natural environment for the benefit of our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan, and congratulations to you as well. Look forward. It's going to be an excellent at least couple of years for three of us, and the two ladies they get 4 years now. So there you go. With that, okay, so now what we're going to do is hand over this gavel, hopefully. As much as I would love to keep this job, I think it's time somebody else has their chance. So the way these nominations, or the way we do this, sorry, Jen, go ahead. Jen wants to say one other thing.
That's okay.
That's the benefit of being in the room here with a few people at the very least. Go ahead, Jen.
Just to the 3 incoming council members and Anna and Dave, that'll stay on. But welcome to the family. We're all excited to have you on board and to work with you over the course of the next several years. So get ready for a lot of work and hopefully a lot of fun as well. So welcome.
Thank you, Jen. Sorry, I didn't see your message till a second later. So the selection of both the mayor and the new vice mayor are somewhat unique because we actually don't get to do this kind of decision making ever, other than during this process. But the way this works is I'll ask for nominations. Any council member can make a nomination. There does not need to be a second. We will document those nominations in order, and then we will basically vote on each nomination until we have a majority vote. So basically, first majority vote wins. And so currently we're going to do the selection of mayor. And we are going to, it doesn't really matter where we're going to start, but I did have an order here because being somewhat remote, it's challenging. So what I did put together at the very least for our new council, similarly to how we do it with the old council, I thought we would go in order of Lindsay, Jan, Courtney, and then Anna and I, and however that order works out. So Lindsay, would you like to make any nominations for mayor of the town of Truckee for 2021? And you are muted.
And now I'm unmuted.
There you go.
Well, I would like to nominate Vice Mayor Klogstad. She's done a great job in that position, so would love to see her move on up the chain to mayor.
And Jan, any nominations other than Vice Mayor Klogstad?
Since I can't second any nomination, I'll just join in Lindsay's nomination.
Courtney, any new nominations?
No new nominations.
All right. Well, neither do I. So let's, do you want a roll call, Judy, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm going to roll call.
Roll call. All right. Judy Price is going to give us a roll call. Your first roll call, welcome to all of our new council members. You can say whatever words you want as long as it affirms a positive or a negative.
Council member Romack?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Zabriskie?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Klogstad?
Yes.
And Mayor Pallavi?
Well, it's unanimous. Anna, you now get the gavel, and you are the new Town of Truckee mayor for 2021. And I am sure we are in good hands, having worked with you for the past 2 years, and we are all here to support you in everything that it entails being the mayor during a pandemic, in addition to all of the other wonderful roles and responsibilities. So congratulations, and thank you for your service.
everybody for entrusting me with this role. I greatly appreciate it and look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Anna. So normally you can take over the meeting now. I'm here for you if you would like me to continue running it. It's up to you, but you have to acknowledge it.
With that said, yes, would you be so kind,
Yes.
Councilmember Pallavi, to continue to complete this meeting, and I will take over at the next meeting.
Excellent change of terminology on the fly. I appreciate that. Thank you. And we will now turn to our selection of vice mayor. So we will go through the same process. So Councilmember Romack, any nominations for vice mayor?
Thank you. Yes, I would like to nominate Courtney Henderson for vice mayor.
Councilmember Zabriskie?
Since we don't do seconds, I'll just join in Lindsay's nomination.
Councilmember Henderson?
I have no additional nominations.
And Mayor Klövstad?
No additional nominations.
Great. Judy, roll call, please.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Romack?
Aye.
Councilmember Zabriskie?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Klövstad?
Aye.
And Councilmember Pallavi?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great. Congratulations, Courtney. You are Town of Truckee's new vice mayor for 2021.
Thank you. It is an absolute privilege and a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we as a new council, we are now convened, and we do have two action items. The first is item 9.1, certification of the transit occupancy tax ordinance adopted by the voters. I have Andy being on my cheat sheet here. Andy, are you still with us? Are you going to make this presentation? Oh, he's there. I just don't see him.
Doesn't seem to allow me to turn my video back on. It says the host has stopped the video. But I'm here.
Chris, I'll text Chris.
We'll get that going for you. And in the meantime, Andy, take it away.
Okay. Hey, there I am.
There you are.
So, as you may recall, the town council asked the voters to weigh in on what became known as Measure K, a measure that would increase the transient occupancy tax rate charged within the town of Truckee for a period of 20 years. The voters duly approved that by a pretty overwhelming margin, which is nice. And now we need to give effect to that decision by the voters. So the way this technically works is that the voters have more or less adopted an ordinance, and the council just needs to certify the voters have made that decision. And we've put that voter's decision in the form of an ordinance. You will then certify the ordinance, and it has the effect of having been adopted by the voters. And a draft of that is in your packet. The text of it is not exactly what went to the voters, but the substance of it is exactly what went to the voters. You recall the Measure K said, do you want to increase the rate by 2% for 20 years? And I've put together this ordinance that tweaks the relevant provision of the TOT ordinance to say that for this 20-year period, the rate will go up from 10% to 12%. And then the other stuff that's in the ordinance is just, kind of not window dressing exactly, but it's just little stuff that kind of goes along with that. Doesn't make any substantive decisions. There's some stuff about the elections code and just some clarifying language that it doesn't affect tax obligations accruing before January 1st. So with that, if you would like to certify that the voters of Truckee have passed this ordinance, you can make a motion to that effect.
Thank you very much, Andy. Appreciate that. Any council clarifying questions? Yep, head shaking is great. I appreciate that. Jan, you got a question? Go for it. No, you're muted. There you go.
Andy, is the certification in terms of the foundation for making the certification, is that just derived from what we get back from the county? The county essentially tells us, in fact, I got that little frameable certificate in the mail just the other day. Okay.
Yes, that's right. The county handles the election for us, and they tally up the votes, and the council has certified the results, and now you have the basis for determining that the voters passed this.
Thank you. I'm ready to move to approve it.
Great. We got to go to public comment first, John, and then we will come back and I will ask you for a motion. Any public comment on this item?
I see
Opening.
none.
Great. Seeing none, closing public comment. Jan, I will now accept a motion on item 9.1, please.
I move to certify the results of the election.
And we do need a second.
I will second that.
Courtney seconds, and roll call, please, Judy.
Councilmember Romack?
Yes.
Councilmember Zabriskie?
Yes.
Councilmember Pallavi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Klövstad?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes. And our, what's that? Oh.
I'm just saying thank you to the council.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Sorry, weird noises coming out of different sides of this room. Item 9.2. This is going to Judy. Staff report regarding our December 22nd regular council meeting. Judy or Jen? Judy, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Klövstad and Councilmember Pallavi and their council members this evening. We had originally put this item on to consider holiday scheduling. We have determined that there's an item that really should be addressed before the end of the year. So staff is recommending that we do hold the December 22nd council meeting if there's no conflicts in schedules. And I will turn it over to you for questions or comments. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, I think it's, I don't have any questions necessarily. We're anticipating it to be a short meeting, theoretically. Maybe not. Depends.
It's probably going to be an average length meeting.
Average length meeting. Great. We will all celebrate together. Distantly, of course. Any other questions from council? Seeing, yep, go ahead, Jan.
What is it that prompts the need for a council meeting on the 22nd?
Staff is going to recommend an urgency ordinance to address issues related to short-term rentals during the COVID upgrade in levels for Nevada County.
Yeah, and more specifically, what we are going to propose to the council is that you give us one more enforcement tool to choose from in trying to get lodging operators to comply with the regional stay-at-home order that we think will probably take effect within Nevada County at some point soon.
And can we also, I think we had some minor rough discussion on the back end, but maybe we're also going to reinstitute our COVID update as well, potentially to the agendas to at least provide the community an opportunity for formal public comment as it relates to COVID, in addition to just providing an update on where we are at and sort of the current state of affairs, since it seems to be moving rapidly these days.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jen.
Correct. Our intention would be to add an update on COVID. With respect to the urgency ordinance, I do want to caution that we have 2 weeks and we'll be doing outreach to the community and to the lodging community, particularly to get some feedback on that so we can share that with you. But that's what we are really recommending for the December 22nd meeting, and that's why of the change in the recommendation if there's no conflicts with the rest of the council.
And just to clarify, the ordinance that we would like to put to you would not establish any local restrictions on lodging. We're not purporting to veer off from the county or add anything different to what the county and the state have done. It really is just another enforcement tool that we think might be helpful somewhere between taking people to court or issuing the relatively low citations that we can currently do. We think that having a third tool might be handy.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Any public comments on this item? I assume none. Correct. Closing public comment. So looking for either a motion or any potential conflicts from any of our current council members, any concerns, and if not, then I would like a motion.
Well, I know I'm personally not going anywhere, so I'm happy to have this meeting, and I will move to, or do we need an actual
that's true.
decision, or are we just going to say, yes, we can
do
have the meeting?
Consensus.
Don't
is
need
fine.
any actual action.
It's just a regular meeting, so I think the direction to hold the meeting would suffice.
Great. Seeing lots of... Is that a nodding head? Yes, Jan? Yes.
I have no conflicts. I think it's just we go ahead with a regular meeting.
Great. So we will provide direction to staff. We'll go ahead with a regular December 22nd meeting for, I imagine it will be under the same format. We will be fully virtual, and public comment and everything that entails will take place the exact same way we've been running it through all of our virtual meetings. So great. That is it for our discussion and action items. We're going to move to council reports. Judy, did you want to mention something before we move into that?
I actually did, since this is our 3 new council members' first meeting. Council reports is an opportunity for the council members to discuss the opportunities they've had to represent the town or the council at different events or different educations and trainings. There are compelling reasons to do council reports anytime the town pays for training or a league conference or that type of thing. You'll need to report that out. But other than that, it's really your time to just explain to council what's happening in those committees, boards, and commissions that you've been assigned to.
Great. Thanks, Judy. And I guess since I'm not the mayor, I go first now, huh? So we'll let you 3 off the hook, Courtney, Jan, and Lindsay, unless there's anything burning. But since you've just taken on your role as council, other than celebrating your victories, we wish you the heartiest congratulations. But feel free to chime in. You guys can go first. Lindsay, did you have anything you wanted to mention?
Nope. Thank you.
Great. Jan, anything?
I think all 3 of us have just been getting ready to be members of the council, but I've been continuing with GPAC activities and the business survival and winter operations meeting the other day. I attended and been involved in other things to help get ready for being on the council.
Thank you.
I think we're all just charging ahead, trying to climb the curve.
Yeah. Courtney, did you have anything?
I do not, but I look forward to joining some of our committees and commissions and giving future reports.
That will not be a problem. We trust you all will have at least one, if not multiple council committee seats. I will go through mine next. I guess our last council meeting was on the 10th, so I didn't have a chance to quite get everything down. But we had a virtual Veterans Day ceremony, of which I provided opening remarks, and was very successful. Everybody was very appreciative, and it went quite well with the virtual ceremony and then the actual physical grab-and-go lunch up at the Veterans Hall. And going way back to November, I did a Q&A with the Truckee Rotary, provided them an update on everything happening at the town. In addition to, looks like I've done 3 filmings on in the past month. So we did a PSA with Placer County and Supervisor Anderson and some of the local CEOs of Squan North Star, which was organized by Placer County. So thank you for that. And then did a couple of others as well for different items as it relates to COVID and the holidays and Thanksgiving. We had a TBID meeting, Visit Truckee Tahoe meeting back on November 18th. through the new Visit Truckee Tahoe. I attended the mayor-manager's breakfast with the Nevada County's, Grass Valley, and Nevada City mayors and town managers. Very insightful. We're all really just creating so much deeper relationships with all of our partners across the county, and I know that's going to continue as we move all of this forward. Did the Friday another county call, I believe, and then I think that I did meet with some folks from a company called Picasso, which is a second home sharing operation who's apparently coming to Truckee, so just another options of how that's working. And I think that was mostly it. Yeah. Might have done a few other. Oh, and I attended the Gateway Workshop, the Innovate Gateway Workshop, which was held last week, which was really well done. Kudos to the planning department. They managed to have breakout groups and all sorts of very interactive ways to participate there. And then in addition to Jan, I was also on the business call on Monday as well. For that update too. And that brings us up to date. Anna, take it away. Mayor Klövstad, any council reports?
Yes, since it's been a whole month since our last council meeting. So yeah, I just want to reiterate, I deeply enjoyed the Veterans Day celebration. So thank you, Judy, and everybody that made that possible, right down to the Mountain Bells, which is part of my favorite part. So it was nice to not miss it this year. I had the pleasure of introducing Jen to the Seroptimus International of Truckee Donner. Thank you for joining us, Jen. It was really nice to have you there. Plenty of town and COVID calls, which I look forward to having the new town council members on. There was a Kids Zone virtual gala for their fundraiser, which was wonderful. I'm so proud of how our community has pivoted to still have all these tremendous events to support these organizations and doing it safely. Another amazing Forest Futures program was put on by the Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation, where we continue to make progress and educate people about forest health management in our community and the many, many challenges that faces. I had a LAFCO meeting where we approved a highly compromised sphere of influence for Nevada City, and a GPAC meeting where we talked about land use alternatives and our upcoming schedule of meetings and focus areas, which I look forward to bringing more information to council about that. And then, of course, the virtual gateway area study session for the general plan, which was very informative and engaging. So that's about it.
Great. We will look forward to seeing everybody back here on your computer screens December 22nd at 5 p.m. Welcome to the new ones. Thank you to everybody who's served in the past. And yeah, stay safe out there and good night. Thank you.